We've now got the Rasmus on the line. Now, you were saying you're back home in Finland now, but last weekend you were playing the Altas Festival in Ukraine, the only Western band to play that festival. Is that right?
Yeah, we were happy to, contribute to supporting Ukraine. We have a big fan base, and we've been going to Ukraine for more than 20 years. And now, obviously, when the war started, we haven't. And so we heard about this opportunity to go and play the festival with like, yes, let's do it. And, it was one hell of a trip, though. We couldn't fly there, so we had to take a plane to Poland and then like 12-hour night train to Kiev, which is the capital city and where the festival was held. First of all, it was really nice to see the Ukrainian fans there, and like we talked to so many people, visited a children's hospital, which was very sad because we met some of the injured kids, and that hospital was also bombed last summer, I believe, and like we could see some of the concrete, stuff that actually happened there, and the night before our show. There was a air strike, so there were like 300 drones in the sky, basically covering almost the whole country, and 13 missiles that night. And we were sleeping in the shelter, so that was pretty scary. But I was just saying, like, for us, we were lucky to have the safest hotel and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to be complaining that I was scared, because I was thinking about the families who have to evacuate to the train station, to the metro station, in the middle of the night with their children sleeping on a concrete floor. So bad, being so scary.
No sleep until I'm done with finding the answer. Won't stop before I find a cure for this cancer. Sometimes I feel like going down and so disconnected. Somehow I know that I'm haunted to be wanted.
Was there any fear that the festival wouldn't take place? I mean, presumably, obviously, in a war-torn country, there's always must be a risk that even the day before they could have pulled the plug on it.
Yeah, we played on Saturday, so Friday they also had the festival, so they had to stop twice during the performances because of the alert. The sirens went off, and they had to evacuate the whole crowd in the basement, which is unbelievable. So it's like 20,000 plus people, and in just a few minutes, everybody was in the shelter, which was the parking structure of the mall. It was kind of outside in front of the shopping mall. So they had to do it twice, and then when the alarm was off, it was over, they continued. We didn't have to. We could play the whole hour, and we were lucky that day. During the daytime, there were no bombings.
I've been watching, I've been waiting in the shadows of my time. I've been searching, I've been living for tomorrows all my life.
Because presumably, it is ill-advised as a band to enter a war zone to play a festival, and presumably there must have been questions from management, from label, from insurance policy-wise for you doing this. But so why do you feel it was important to do this, to play this festival then, given the risks to yourselves that they must have been quite high?
Yes, but of course, it was a charity show. So we didn't make any money. We were just happy to donate our share to the children's hospital. So in that way we can help. But also I think the biggest help was that we were there in person. We talked to so many people and they were saying like, oh, you don't know how much this means to us. Like someone outside of Ukraine comes here to play the festival and show us like we are not forgotten, you know, like people still care. And like our mission was to bring hope and good vibes in the middle of the crisis. And I think that was the biggest thing we had to offer.
Girl, you lived your life like a sleeping swan. Your time has come to go deeper. Girl, the final journey has just begun. Your destiny chose the reaper. No fear. Destination darkness. No fear. Destination darkness.
But you gotta say, like, I was singing many of our songs on stage and thinking of the lyrics, how they got whole new meanings. Like, you know, we have a song called No Fear. We have a song called Living in a World Without You. I see the light, you know, like there is hope to guide me. Like we have a song called In My Life where I'm singing like, it's up to you if you give it up, give it up. Like all these songs, all of a sudden, like they made sense in a new way. And it was such a powerful experience to be there playing in front of these people. And I think it meant a lot. Like I could see their faces being happy, forgetting the war for that 1 hour. And it's weird because when the night falls, the alarms go off. Like almost every night there's bombing. The night when we left, we took a night train back to Poland to get back to Finland. And that night there were over 430 drones, size of a car. They're big ones, with full of like explosions. 430 drones, 26 missiles. One night. That's fucking insane.
Rise up, reach up to the sun till we drop. Rise up, never going down, 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 don't stop. Rise up, lift your eyes and climb to the top. Rise up, together.
I mean, it must be a huge reality check for yourselves because, you know, as somebody who hears about this on the news and you see it, presumably until you experience it, until you see those drones, you hear about those drones, you see the evacuation, you visit the hospital, presumably you can't comprehend it until you've seen it.
No, I had seen the news, of course, you know, before, but when I was there, my phone goes off like, seek for shelter, seek for shelter. Yeah, you know, like this is happening. Like we have to, and then you start looking at all the apps. Like they have like wonderful apps where you can see what's going on. It's kind of nice to know what's going on, but in a way, it's like, what can you do? You're just there, you know, in a basement, and then maybe when you know too much, it's even scarier. Like they have like apps describing what kind of missiles, where they're hitting, when they left, how, you know, how many minutes it will take them to get there. And these local people, they're just talking about this like everyday stuff, you know. That is kind of weird because they are so tired and so used to it already. The war has been going on for 1,240 days or more, something like that. It's like almost 4 years. So they said like, well, I don't evacuate anymore. It takes me 15 minutes from my apartment to walk to the nearest metro station. but the missiles take only 4 minutes to get here. It's like, why would I even bother?
I've been living in this haunted house, sleeping in a dungeon, state and bloody. This bed is like a life raft in the dark. I hold on like I'm drowning to your body. You've always been invincible when you're naked, but when the fire comes too close, you fake it. Your alibis of ice run through my veins. Break these chains, let them fall, set me free, soul and all. Break these chains, let me crawl, set me free, soul and all. You could
This is why it's important to have something like a festival, because presumably this is just a break from the constant hell that they're living in, just a chance to escape for a few hours, to do something normal.
Right, because life has to go on. People need to go to school, they need to go to work, they need to, meet each other, socialize, fall in love, have babies, everything. They can't stop because we don't know how long this war is going to continue. And think of, teenagers, like someone who's 15 years old in Ukraine. 5 years ago, first she was 10 years old. There's COVID. That's the normal life at that point. And then after 2 years after starts the war. And that her basically whole life, her whole youth has been just like terrifying things like that. So now, first time they had a festival, this person could attend. And they were like, wow, what is this? Like 25,000 people here, like having a party. They have a curfew, they can't go outside after, I think, 11. There's no nightclubs. There's not so many concerts. I think locals, they do. I mean, of course, musicians, they have to, and people want to do stuff, but it's very, very restricted because they don't allow these gatherings. So this festival was an exception because they had a good plan for the evacuation. And of course, like collecting like 2 million euros for the charity. And then there were auctions. We gave away a lot of our like stuff. Like I had my own microphone stand with some feathers on it, and they sold really well, but it's wonderful to see how united they are in Ukraine and how they kind of keep fighting, even though you can tell they're tired, they're sad, but the spirit was still like, I think especially this weekend, because, we were there and I met so many like soldiers. They gave me these patches. I have them somewhere, but the one they put on the sleeve. And I want you to give this. I had it 2 years, the front line. I wore it every day. And this one guy gave me a necklace with the Ukrainian, the symbol. And I had this on me 1.5 years. I was fighting. And like, wow, it was really meaningful and felt so good to be there.
I want to talk about as well the fact that you have a brand new album, Weirdo, comes out later on this year. So tell us a bit about the album, because you're back over here in November touring here in the UK.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's the title is Weirdo. It's kind of like the song Weirdo was one of the first tracks written on the album, and it says, "I'm just a weirdo, I'll never be a hero," which is kind of like, which is not really true. I just say it, but I mean, like, I will never be a typical like a hero type of hero. I don't even know how to shoot a rifle or load it, but I have my songs and I have that as my weapon. So I'm kind of a hero, but I'll never be a typical, typical type of hero. And that sort of like is the concept of the album, that we all have a meaning in this universe, and we don't have to be exactly the same. Like nowadays you get so much like pressure from the social media, for example, to be certain type, alpha male needs to look like this, and you have to have investments and money, and for ladies or girls they have to have this type of chin line and whatever. It's so much pressure. So like being a weirdo, being yourself is enough, and that's enough.
Creatures of chaos, love me or hate us. If you're feeling dangerous, that means you're one of us.
Arise was the last album that came out in 2022. How much of a change would you say is it from that?
Well, I think the biggest change is still Empu, our new guitarist. She joined the band like 3 years ago, kind of in the very end of the previous album cycle. So she was part of 2 songs on the album, but now she was there from the beginning. So that's like the biggest like feeling and the mood thing, because she was the healing angel of the band. Like when she joined us, everything just like was good again. Like we had so many troubles with the previous guy, and that kind of stuff was over. Also myself, I think my role in the band kind of changed. I think I've taken more responsibility for driving the boat. So for me, kind of opened many like blocks, and I was kind of free to just let it go.
Psychos, sickos, welcome to the Church of Zeros. Train wrecks, rejects, look around as God's my witness. Crypto, grifters, misfit toys and twisted systems. Broken cradles, we will catch the fallen angels.
Plus, this kind of the weirdo, that concept of like being different and being proud of it is like coming from the very beginning of our career. Like on the first album, I had a song called Myself, and that was exactly the first song I ever wrote for the Rasmus. And I was 15, and I was feeling like I don't fit in the school environment, and but still I was kind of proud of who I am. And I had like 3 friends, and that was enough. That's all I needed. But I haven't come too far from that theme, which is kind of funny. Like 30 years later, I'm still writing about the same subject. But I sort of realized that this is the message of the band, because I've been asked that question like for years, and I don't think I could answer. But I think that's it. Like sometimes you need some time, or you have to kind of go outside the box to see yourself better, who you are and what you've done. Like in this long career, now I can kind of start seeing like why things went like they did, and why I said something like that, because I'm always too close to my own art, and I can't see it. It comes out and I do my stuff, and then later, maybe decades later, I can say, oh, that's what I meant. I just didn't know.
I think it probably nicely sums up the sort of genre of music that we all love, is that to a certain extent we're all weirdos. We all feel like we don't necessarily fit in, and don't worry about it, embrace it.
Yes, totally.
Creatures of chaos, that's how they made us. We are contagious, the future's afraid of us. Creatures of chaos, love it or hate us. If you're feeling dangerous, that means you're one of us.
And sadly, obviously, the news was only breaking yesterday that we lost Ozzy Osbourne 2 weeks after the Black Sabbath thing. Did you ever come across Ozzy in any of your travels?
No, I never had a chance to meet him. I've seen a couple of shows though, and we even have played War Pigs with the band, and it's such a loss. Like I felt so sad this morning.
Mm.
I'm not moved so many about these like artists passing away, like I see, like, but this time something about him, he just he had a good heart. Like I just felt like he was so genuine. Like I don't know, something about him was so nice, and of course music he's changed the music forever, and it has such a huge influence. But yeah, it's a tragical loss.
With nothing to lose, I've been a loser since the day you lit the fuse. Love is a drug, and I need a fix. Love is like you. Love is a bug, and I got an itch. Love is like you. Love is a bug. Love is
And so then you are back over here in November touring?
Yes, we are. We are playing. I don't even know how many shows. Like quite many, but exciting to be back in UK. Yeah, we've been chatting a lot with the fans on the socials, and everybody's like suggesting what songs we could play and all that kind of stuff. So it's exciting.
Excellent. Well, thank you ever so much for chatting to us. It sounds an amazing journey you've been on to Ukraine. Yeah, very inspirational, and I'm sure you feel the same way, in that perhaps the Ukrainian people just are inspirational. And we look forward to the album and then seeing you back over here in November.
Thank you so much.
Rest in peace.